Την στήριξη της Ουκρανίας μέχρις εσχάτων από την Βρετανία διατύπωσε σε συνέντευξη του στο ΕΡΤNews και στον Γιάννη Μούτσιο η υφυπουργός Εξωτερικών του Ηνωμένου Βασιλείου. Η Βρετανίδα αξιωματούχος δεν απέκλεισε μάλιστα το ενδεχόμενο πόλεμος της Ουκρανίας να επεκταθεί ακόμη και στην Ευρώπη. Η Νασράτ Γκάνι κάλεσε την Χαμάς να παραδώσει τους ομήρους, τονίζοντας ωστόσο ότι η ανθρωπιστική βοήθεια αποτελεί προτεραιότητα για το Ηνωμένο Βασίλειο.
Britain is wholeheartedly supporting the Ukraine and the conflict that goes on behind it. Why is that?
Putin's aggression in Ukraine is now taking place over 2 long years. Not only is it a violation of Ukraine's sovereignty, but it's a threat of all of us who believe in liberal democracy, who believe in sovereignty, freedom of law, who believe in peace and democratic institutions. It's important that we protect Ukraine and we ensure that Putin is defeated. We cannot let an individual who is obsessed with totalitarian imperialism, who wakes up any day of the week and decides where he wishes the borders of his country to start. It's also an issue about security and stability in Europe. It's also about our economies too, because Ukraine produces so much that we consume in our own countries.
Are you actually concerned that there may be a war in Europe or another European country following Ukraine?
This is a little bit, you're pushing the envelope a little more than I can say, but there's no denying that if Putin was to prevail, to succeed, there's no denying that we do not know where he would go next.
Now, how far is Britain willing to go with the war in Kiev, provided that there seems to be a division between the allied countries that do support Ukraine, but we don't really know for how long?
I don't think there is any discrepancy in support for Ukraine, but there will always be ongoing conversations about the capacity for countries to support Ukraine.
You've talked about reconstruction of Ukraine following the end of the war, but my question is, do we know when the end of the war is going to come and what the following day is going to look like?
I talked about reconstructing Ukraine mid-conflict. This is a unique thing that we are involved with.
Η κρίση στη Μέση Ανατολή δεν άφησε εκτός πλαισίου τη Βρετανία.
There's been a poll saying that almost 66% of the British want to actually have a ceasefire. So where does Britain, in terms of the British government, stand in this case?
Our focus is fundamentally on securing a humanitarian pause so we can get aid in. We're doing everything that we can to ensure that aid is arriving in Gaza. And a lot of conversations I've had with my Greek counterparts is how do we get aid in, whether it's by land, sea, or any other way.
Corridor.
Yes, the humanitarian corridor is absolutely pivotal. Obviously, we are friends of Israel, which means we can have conversations about ensuring that everything remains within the legalities of humanitarian international law. But our focus fundamentally at the moment is getting aid in. We obviously would like to see a pause, and we'd like to see, we want Hamas to release hostages too, but Hamas is a terrorist organisation and Israel is trying to defend itself.
Are we talking about a two-state solution in Gaza?
We've always, the government, believed in a two-state solution when the appropriate time arrives.